Garcia, Lion.
Here.
Crane. Gonzalez.
Here.
Gonzalez War.
Present.
Huébano. I'm sorry, Lezama.
Here.
Huébano.
Here.
Marquez.
Here.
Morales.
Present.
Ortega.
Here.
Patiño.
Here.
Ramirez Heredia.
Here.
Ramirez Square. Kings.
Here.
Rodriguez.
In the chat.
Roman.
Present.
Salazar. Sanchez.
Professor, I think Salazar
Here.
have problems with his internet.
Okay, but still have to put no attendance. Uribe. Velarde.
Here.
Victoriano. Who came in late?
Ramirez Square,
Uh-huh.
say in the chat.
Okay, that's it.
And Aguilera.
You're not Aguilera.
No, in the chat,
Okay. Why isn't Aguilera using her mic? Okay, so Crane is not here, and Salazar is not here, and Uribe is not here. Okay. Well, last class, I asked you to fix this problem here. Remember? Course. Did you guys fix it?
I don't fix it. I was having problems with the ISP, and I don't fix it.
With the what?
The ISP, but it's because I have.
You don't need an ISP.
Oh no, I can't run the server because I have the bits wrong.
So you're gonna fail this partial?
No,
Don't give me excuses. Don't tell me why I can't run the server. You can't run ASP.NET, then you're gonna fail because that's what we're gonna run this period, this month. So don't tell me, oh, I can't run it and just leave it like that. Fix it. Did anybody fix this problem? Nobody?
In the chat, one say something.
Okay, Morales, can you tell us how you fixed it? Do you have a mic?
Yes.
Okay, if I make you the host, can you tell everybody how you fix it?
Okay.
Okay, so Morales is gonna save you. Where am I? Morales. Okay, you're the host now. Share your screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. The first step that you need to do is wait. Go to Tools, and here you have this option, NuGet Package Manager, and you need to click the first one, Package Manager Console, and it will. Next, you have a console in this part, and you need to write this install package Microsoft.appsnet.webapp.course in the console here in PM.
It's gonna take a while.
And when you push enter, it will load a package, and I have this package, so I don't need to download.
Yeah, just give him a couple of a minute because sometimes it takes a while to download everything.
Okay.
When you guys are ready, let us know, please. It should take about a minute. Got it?
Yeah.
Can you guys answer yes or no? Does it take too much effort?
Yes, got it.
Everybody else, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, please continue.
Now in the right, you have different folders. First, you need to go to click the app underscore start, and here you have this option, web appconfig.cs, and here you have this comment, web app configurations and service. You just need to copy this line, config.enable course, this.
All right, got it.
So if you have this part, now you need to go to the Brad controller. And first, you need to export a new package. Is this one?
Import. You're not exporting, you're importing it.
Okay. So this line first. Next, before the class, you need to copy this line, but here in this part, you need to write your localhost.
You can also put
everyone
star.
have
You can change it to
star.
star, asterisk, and that's gonna allow for from everywhere.
Okay, so
But you don't have
Just-
to, the origin is who
Yes.
can access the API. So you put star for now, it's gonna allow everybody to access it.
here just start, or
No. Instead of HTTP localhost,
Mhm.
star, as in an asterisk. No, but put the actual quotes. No, asterisk, star. The symbol, not the word. No, inside the quotes.
inside the
Yeah, no, actually, write down the code, yeah, like Nitya says. Write the quotes and then a star inside of it. Like you have in headers and methods,
Mhm.
the same thing. Quotes, star, quote. There you go. So that allows for from everywhere.
Okay.
And that should be it.
So just need these 2 lines, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And now, if you run the server, how I can
Just run it. Yeah, there.
so when this load, you can go to your localhost, and is supposed to work. And you have this. So
Okay, very good.
that's all.
That's it, yeah. The only thing that we wanted was to enable course. Can you make me the host again?
What?
Can you make me the host?
Okay.
And stop sharing your screen? Make me the host. Orale. Stop sharing your screen and make me the host. Orale. You're still the host.
Yes.
Make me
Let
the
me see.
host. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so you should get this. So first we had the course error because we had an enabled course, and now that we enable course, we can consume that API with our web application. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Okay, any questions? So what your classmate did, let's see, this is it. Okay, he placed the header to enable course on top of the class. When you do that, that means that all the methods inside the class, all the getters and posts and whatever you have, will be accessible. If you only want one method to be open, then you could place this tag on top of the method. So I can't put it right here because it's running, but you could put it in between here. So that would mean that only that action is enabled for course, for sharing. But if you place it on top of the whole class, then all the methods are accessible. Okay? Got it?
Yep.
Okay, so now that our we enabled our application for course, what we're gonna do is remember last where are we? Last class we had we created our constructor that's supposed to bring all the um I'm sorry, one of the brands, and we create a method that returns all the brands, but we said we're going to do this from the database. So please open SQL Server. And we're going to create a database, a table, and populate the table. Let me just make this a little bit, I'll make it bigger. Hold on. There you go. Okay. One. Give me a second here. Now, in this case, we don't need this because we're writing in English, but just in case you need it sometime in another database, this will allow Spanish characters like the tilde for the N, the ñ, and accents for the letters. It will accept them, okay? So right now we're writing in English. I'm sorry, this is wrong. We're writing in English, so it doesn't matter. comments are like this. All right, and use. Ah. Did we use description or description? Okay. Let's call it this. And that's the primary key. Okay, now first you need to create a database. So don't run the whole script all together. First create a database and give it a second or two. So it's executing the query. And it created the database. Now you can change to here, use choose 2021, or you can select this and execute this part, or execute the rest of the code. And that's going to create the table and the brands. It's going to fill the brands. So in your databases, you should see choose 2021 tables. You have your brands table with your columns. And if you do a query, you should get your brands. Okay? You got it? Oops, sorry.
Yes.
Actually, I don't need this one anymore, so let me just close it out. Everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so now what we need to do is just like in, well, the same reasoning that in PHP, we need to, let me just charge my phone here. We need to configure or set the values to connect to the database in ASP.NET. Let me just stop this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a connection string. Now, a connection string is a string of parameters, but they're only in the same string, that allows us to, instructs the application to connect to the server. So it gives the server name, the password, database, and username. So username is normally SA. So the server, of course, you're gonna put your server. So my server, actually this computer is localhost, but you can, let me just check. Because mine is actually a different computer here. So put the server that you have. So we're gonna go to web config, and in the configuration node, we're gonna create our connection string. So we're gonna type connection strings. You should find it there. So we're web config here, connection strings, and then you're gonna add a connection string. We're gonna call it CS. You can call it whatever you want. And then connection string. So first is gonna be the data source, which is the server name. In my case, I have the server I think I took that from, now you can't see it because I'm sharing the other screen, but from my computer, computer information. Well, actually, you can see it. It's the name of the computer right here. But it's actually, if you right click computer, you can find the name. But whatever name, so here. Whatever name your server has, put it here. Just put like this. So that's the data source. Data source is the name of the server. The catalog is shoes is database. So shoes 2021. User ID is normally SA. And password, since this is a school computer, I don't mind giving you the password. You already know it. Or my password. Make sure you type it correctly. Most students have problems typing data source. I don't know why. Got it? Yes, no.
Yes.
Why is it so hard to answer yes or no? Only 2 or 3 people answer. What are the other 20 people doing? Just laying around, watching Netflix, not paying attention. Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we have the connection string called CS, and with this information, we should be able to connect to our server, to that specific database, with this username and this password. Okay, let's assume that you typed that correctly. So I can close this. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a class that's gonna allow us to connect to the database. The first method that we're gonna do is just to retrieve information. Others are gonna be to post information, but right now, just retrieve. So we're gonna create a new folder. We're gonna call it data access. And here we're gonna create a new class. And we're gonna call it SQL Server Connection. We need to use a couple of namespaces that are not here. So this one is so we can access web config file. Remember in web config, we set it up in the configuration. Okay, most of you are back. So system.configuration is to access the web config file and specifically to access to read the configuration string, the connection string. Okay, somebody else entering. Now we're going to need others. System.data. This is for handling data tables and such. And handling. and system.data.sql client. This is specific for SQL Server. So we need those three.
We knew that we were helping her.
Okay. Got it? I just want to see how you spell handling. No E. Okay. So now, again, we're going to create some regions. Just two. And what we're going to have here is a variable that holds the connection string. So we're going to have private string. Connection string equals connection string equals configuration manager. Configuration manager dot connection strings. That's an array. So the one that we want is CS. That's the name that we gave to the connection string. And then we're going to read the connection string attribute from it. Give me a second. Okay. So this is the connection string. Again, it is because the system.configuration namespace allows us to access the web.configuration file. And here we're accessing the connection string node. So that would be this one. From that, we can have several connection strings to different databases. We only have one. But from that one, we're accessing the one with the name CS, which would be this one. And from it, we're accessing the attribute or the property connection string, which would be this. Now notice that this is plural, connection strings with an S. This is singular. The same thing here. This is plural. This is singular. Okay, so we're going to create a method, a simple one, that's going to allow us to execute a simple command and SQL command and return a database. Normally, when you execute a SQL command, it returns a data table. Let me just show you. So this is our command, our query, and when you execute it, it returns a data table, which is this. Now, in this case, the only thing that we did was create the command, but we already know what database is using. And of course, since we're in this, we already logged into the server. We connected to the server, so we already know the server, the username and password. The only thing that we needed was the database, so we have that. You can see it here. So server database username and password, we execute the query and we get a return table. So that's what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna create a method. That's going to return a data table. The method is going to be called query, execute query. And as an argument, we're going to receive a SQL command. The command is an object that encapsulates the not only the query, but also the parameters for the query. If I were to have a where ID equals this or something like that, then everything is in that part. So we're going to create our data table that we will eventually return. Now this is an object that's going to return all of this inside that object, a data table. We're actually going to constructor in case we can't find anything. So we have our data table and we will return our data table. Okay. So everything here is susceptible to exceptions, meaning that if I receive a query that is not correct, or the connection string is not written correctly, or any other thing, I can get an exception. Now, you saw exceptions in second quadrimester, so I'm not going to get into that. But you need to handle them with a try-catch. So everything is going to be within a try-catch. We can have many. I'm just going to use two. And the last one, we'll always use just the generic exception. And once everything is done, we're going to close the connection. No, I'll get to this part later. Okay. Yes. Okay. So first we're going to create a So we're going to create a connection. Oh, this one should be static. If it's not static, a static method cannot access non-static members. I'll change that here. And we're gonna try to open it. Again, try to open it. If we can, everything's good. If we can't, then we'll get an exception. Then the command that was sent will not have a connection yet because the connection is here. So we have to assign the connection to the command. So this command will know in which server database it will be executed. This is another object that just links the database, I'm sorry, the command to the resulting table. And finally, we're going to execute the method fill, which is going to execute the query and fill the table. So this has to be outside the try. We'll always need to close the connection and actually destroy the object. That means release the whatever memory was allocated to the object. We're going to release it. Got it?
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so we're done with the with this class. It's this one, and we're going to go back to the brand class. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this method. Instead of adding the brands fixed, we're going to connect to the database. So here we actually need to use also system.data because we're going to handle data. And system.data.SQL server, SQL client. We need those two. So we're going to erase this and we're going to work here. Okay. So first, we're going to create a query, just a string with the query. We already wrote it down here. So I would always recommend that you execute your query here to make sure that you wrote everything correctly, and you copy and paste it here. You don't need to. So you create this SQL command is the one that's going to hold the query. This is just a query. And we're going to execute it. So we use the method we just created, SQL server connection dot execute query. We send the command, and that should return the data. So at that point, table should have data. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to read the data. So every row inside a table is a data row. So here we are reading all the rows inside the table. We're using a for each. We are familiar with a for each. We've already used it in PHP and JavaScript. And so we're using it here. So just like the other two, we're going to work with row. So we say the ID is going to be it's going to be the row, and then here we're going to put the name of the field. So it's going to be ID. And then we need to convert it to string because ID is a string. And same for description. Okay, so now we have the ID and the description, and now we can add it to the list. So it's going to be list dot add new brand, and then it's going to be ID and description. Got it?
Got it.
Yes, got it.
Okay. So let's test it. Let's try it. We can try it with the with Postman, or it doesn't work anymore. It's loading over here. Or directly with the application that we did. Now it's going to bring back the same information. It's taking a while. There you go. Because it's, well, I put the same values. So let's add another one. So maybe we add Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, B. New Balance. There you go. So now we have New Balance here. Okay. Did it work?
Yes, it's working.
Everybody?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the get one. Okay, remember that let's see if Postman wants to wake up. Let's give Postman a second. Is like you guys. There we go. Okay. Almost there. There we go. Okay, so now I need to put an ID, and we'll get the information. But right now we have it like this. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is, just like we did in PHP, we're going to create an exception that's going to, if we don't find the row, in this case the brand, we're going to throw an exception. Okay. So we're gonna add that, and what's this? Here, models. We're gonna create a new. Well, let's create a new new folder here. Let's call it exceptions. Then we're gonna add a record not found exception. We're gonna take out the namespace. And this should be an exception, so we're gonna inherit from exception. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, professor.
Okay, so we're gonna create a property. See, right now, well, right now it's returning whatever the parent says. Base references the parent, so whatever the message is up here, that's what it's returning. But I don't want that. I want to return my message. This one. I'm not gonna put any regions and stuff like that. It's very small. We're actually gonna do something here. So it's gonna be able to be used many ways. Okay, that is our exception. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
Okay, so we're gonna close this one and go back to brand. We're gonna use a lot of this. So we're gonna copy part of it. And now we're gonna go to our constructor, the one that we set from the database. So this one here. Okay. Let me get these out of the way so you don't get confused. So we're working on this one. So part of it is the same, except for this one requires a parameter. So we're gonna do this. Okay. This now, before we execute the query, we need to give a value to this ID here, to this parameter, and that one's going to be this one. So we're going to say command dot parameters dot add with value. It's going to be the name of the parameter, which is ID, and the value, which is the variable ID. Okay. Got it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we executed, now we have a table, but the table should not bring a lot of rows, just one. So first, we're gonna check we check if row was found. So we're not gonna do a for each. We're gonna do an if. If it's more than 0, that means that you did find the row, that param. So we're gonna read that row. So we're gonna say data row equals table dot rows, the first one. So that would be position 0. And instead of saving the attributes to variables, we're going to send them directly to the attributes. Okay, and erase them. If we don't find it, then we're going to throw an exception. Get type. A method. And the ID. So it should say could not find brand. Oh, sorry, throw new. Could not find brand with the ID and whatever ID I'm going to send it. With this, it should work with a brand that exists, but not yet with a brand that doesn't exist. Server is running. So with a brand that does exist, it should work, like right now. With a brand that doesn't exist, not yet, because we haven't managed the exception correctly. Okay, did it work?
Okay, it's working.
Yes?
Yes.
So we go under armor. We should find it. Okay, so now that it works, first we need to create a another view for errors. So we're gonna go, where am I? There you go. View models. And we're gonna create another view model. We're gonna call it error view model. The same, it's going to import from JSON view model. And the only thing that we're gonna have is an error message. Okay, Got it? Okay, so now we have the error view model. We're gonna go to brand controller. And we're gonna focus on this method, the one that looks for, gets one brand. So we're actually gonna use a try catch again. And we're gonna create, instead of a brand new view model, we'll create an error view model. Status, we're gonna say 999. VM dot message, error message is gonna be whatever the message was returned from the exception. And we're gonna return it. Actually, let's see, here. Now you could return another code if you wanted to. None?
No, I don't think.
I got it.
No questions?
No?
Okay, well, do the another controller for sport, meaning that the shoes, remember the shoes have a brand, but also a sport. We have basketball, shoes for basketball, shoes for running, shoes for baseball, etc. So we need the sport. And then next class, we're gonna do the shoe, which is gonna incorporate sport and brand, okay?
Okay, the next class is the
And that would be all for today.
Okay.
Okay, professor. So just the sport controller.
Yeah, for now, yes.
Okay, got it.
See you
See you.
Tuesday, I think.
See you, professor.
Bye.